Hello and welcome to the Frostbite update. In this update video, we're going to go over what's in the update, what's for free, what you have to pay for, and a few ideas I have for the new blocks. But the most exciting part of the new update has to be Triton. We have a new celestial object to go and land on and pilfer for resources. Triton is I think they described it as a moon. Although starting a new solar system game did not spawn Triton in. So if you want it in your world, you're going to have to spawn it yourself. You can do that by loading up your world in creative, holding down left shift and pressing F10. That'll bring up the spawn menu. From there, select planets, Triton at the bottom, the planet size you want, and whatever seed you wish. Then you can hit spawn. So for example, let's just throw a 19-kilometer Triton down right there. Now they did describe this, I believe, as the moon, and Triton is a moon in real life. So the smaller size is, I believe, more appropriate for it. I have a full-size Triton, where is it? Right there, which is 120 kilometers, the same size as Earth-like planet, and there is very large areas of completely featureless terrain here that I don't think is appropriate. I think having it as this smaller moon size, 19 kilometers, is the proper size for Triton. As when I come down here to the surface and get down to it, there are still nice large swaths of open area, but the features, the mountains are closer to there. But I really like it. It's a nice frozen, desolate wasteland with some craggy mountains as like punctuations of features on it. And I'm looking forward to adding it into my world. As it doesn't spawn normally, I'm going to have to spawn it in myself. And I'm thinking I'm going to spawn it in a little further away than most of the other planets. Even Alien is, I believe, around 5,500-ish kilometers away. I think I want to spawn Triton in by itself, maybe 7-8-ish thousand kilometers, because then it'll be way out there. Obviously it'll be cold because it's way out there, and make it a trek to go and visit. But beyond the new planet, we can pop back down to where I am on Earth. I've got some stuff set up behind my character here. We can talk about the weather mod. So there was a mod for Space Engineers that added various weather effects, but this has now been rolled into vanilla. Unfortunately, this mod at the moment only triggers through scripting or chat commands. So if you press enter /weather, you can put in various things such as like rain, snow, fog. I believe those all work. And I'm not sure of the exact list of every single type, so you're gonna have to go find that. But for example, we're on a snowy mountain here, so let's go snow, light. We get a little bit of haze, a little bit of shortened visibility, overcast day, and we have these wonderful snow particles coming down in our view. We can also upgrade that to weather snow heavy, and it gets even darker, more particles. You can get a little bit of sound effects in the background. It's wonderful. But if you want to get rid of this and go back to normal, go weather clear, if I can spell properly today. There we go. And it'll all dissipate over a few seconds. So that's a weather mod. I would assume, give it a week, maybe two. Somebody will put a mod in the workshop that will make these weather effects happen automatically and procedurally. So as you're going around, these will just occur. And that will be really interesting for the scenarios you can find yourself in. Because imagine coming back from a long mining expedition and you have heavy fog coming in. Where's your base? I used to be able to see where it is. Oh, I didn't put any lights on it. Especially if, say, it's the middle of the night. Where's that cliffside that you're approaching rapidly? Maybe you want to watch your altimeter. Things might go badly for you. So I'm looking forward to the situations that weather can lead me to. But we'll clear it up, and we'll bring the sun back with my godlike admin powers. Beyond that, in the free part, if you make scenarios for the game, you'll be excited by this, is that the visual scripting tool has been updated with new UI, new functionality, and it is just all around better, I assume. I don't use the scripting tool. I've never made scenarios in this game, but it's there. So if you want to make scenarios, it's new and improved. And if you are making scenarios, it's better than before. So great on you. Make some cool scenarios, and that'll be great. But moving on from there, let's get into something tangible, something we can actually touch and build. Blocks. And we have two sections to this platform. We have the free, which are over on the right here. There's only a couple new blocks with the hydrogen tanks, but we're going to compare them against the existing tanks in the game. And then we have the paid, all the different gates and doors and dead engineers and such. But let's go through the free first. We have small hydrogen tanks for both small grid and large grid. Now, this will get a little confusing. I'll try to do my best on saying like small grid, large block, and stuff like that, but we'll get through it. Now, for the large grid, small sized hydrogen tank, it's essentially an oxygen tank. It has the same I/O, the inputs outputs, with a connection at the top, and there's a connection underneath there. It's just, you know, on the platform right now. It's like they've just taken this over, modified the model a little bit, and called it good. And I'm happy with that. A smaller hydrogen tank will mean that we can make some slimmer ship designs that can incorporate hydrogen. We can have it more as simply a fuel reserve for an engine instead of needing this giant tank in order to have any fuel on hand. So that's great. But even better, small block, small tank hydrogen. Oh, yes. This thing is going to be revolutionary for how I'm building small ships. It only has two little IOs, small conveyor ports here and here. Its tank is up there with some sort of like compressor unit at the bottom for its model, but this model is brand new. The oxygen tank wasn't copied like they did with the large ones here. This is the small block oxygen tank that is existing now. They didn't just take that and copy it over to be the small block hydrogen tank. It's an entirely new model. So that's cool. Brand new model there. And it's moving around slightly. Stop being clangy, you stupid little hydrogen tank. Get out into the sunlight so I can see you better. There you go. Beautiful. But this thing is only as good as its functionality. How much hydrogen can it hold? And more importantly, how much hydrogen per block can it hold? Because this thing may hold a certain quantity of hydrogen, but if the larger one holds ridiculously more per block, you might want to just take the larger one anyway, even though it's really annoying to fit onto your designs. So I got all the numbers, let's go through that. And this is for realistic inventory settings. So keep in mind this will change based on your settings of your world. For small block, small sized tank, it has 7,000 hydrogen with 4 blocks, meaning 1,750 hydrogen per block. For a small block, large size tank, it has a total of 160,000 per block for the whole thing, but it's 5 by 5 by 5. It's 125 blocks, which is a lot. It brings it down to 1,280 per block, which means that this guy is actually more hydrogen dense than the big guy, which is great. So that means this guy is actually worthwhile. If you want to pack a few of these onto your ship, it's worth compared to putting one of these on. For large block, small tank, this guy stores 350,000 over 2 blocks for 175,000 per block. For large block, large tank, it stores 5 million, but over 27 blocks, 185,000 per block. So for large ships and for stations and such, the large tank is still the most dense in terms of block size. So you still want to use this in your station for just storing large amounts of hydrogen. However, this is going to be very useful for slimmer ship designs, and honestly, a lot of medium-sized ships that aren't like giant capital ships, they don't really need this much hydrogen at once. This is going to be more than enough for them. So, very excited about this little guy here. He is going to make hydrogen ships and drones and rovers and stuff like that a lot easier to do. But that is all of the free content. Now, everything past here is paid content, as we see from our space coins here. Now it is $3.99 USD, or your regional equivalent. For me in Canada, it was $4.65, I believe, when I purchased it. So, let's take a look. First off is the offset door. So, if I grab a block here and plop it onto either side of this door, we can see that one side is in, and the door is flat to the other side. So this would be great if you are doing this as like an exterior door to your base. It can be nice and flat, or like nice and smooth along here, or a door, say, into a hallway. That would be great. Let me just get rid of these real quick. And whoop, wrong button. Clear that off my bar. Other than that, because they have no floor on them, you can lay them on their side and combine them to be like a window. And I put them on a button here to activate at the same time. Oh, that's beautiful. Also, I put a some bulletproof glass on the other side so that you can actually have this airtight, and you could use this essentially as like blast doors. Or alternatively, you could have an array of, say, Gatling guns or missile launchers behind these, have them open up, fire out those weapons, and then close back up to keep them protected. So that has been done before with the other doors, but this just shows you can do it with these ones as well. Next up, various dead engineers, as sometimes your fellow engineers just don't make it. But that's alright. We can take whatever's within their backpacks here, as they serve as containers as well. So this is great if you're designing various scenarios, say crash ship with a dead engineer and a log in his backpack telling you what his mission was. It's going to be very useful. But there's just different poses. We got the slumped over one on their sort of on their side, on their stomach, on their back, sort of the recovery position type thing, and then another slumped over one. But yeah. Moving on, we have the gate. Now this is essentially an offset door, but for big ships. And, oh, that is beautiful. That is a beautiful gate. It's like wonderful for your, say, main entrance to a base. You can, as well, is just enough space that you can drive a rover like this through. So if I angle the camera here, just barely fitting through there. Perfect. We'll park this guy up, and we'll go back and close that door up. So yeah, it'll be useful. You can be able to add that to your base. However, same as the doors, they don't have a floor to them, so you can put them on their side and combine them into one, which I think this is going to be very useful for hangar bays, because you don't always want to use airtight hangar doors. Sometimes they're a little bit too much. Like if you're going to do something this wide, you need a whole bunch of doors, and you're going to do it just like one door, or you're going to put another one on top and do like full 6, or you're just going to do 3, like, or however you're going to do it. It's just too much. When you could just put 2 of these doors side by side, press a button, and oh, look at them close, and they look so good. They're nicely textured. Ah, I love it. I am looking forward to using these as, say, like bomb bay doors, weapon doors, hangar bays, like all sorts of stuff I can use these doors for. So excited about that. Now, the last block is this radar dish. Now, if you saw it in the sneak peek video, it was moving around and doing all sorts of stuff. But that was a thing that was like a contraption in the Frostbite scenario, which I'll get to in a moment. As it is simply a reskin of the antenna. So it does the exact same thing as this antenna here. The 5,000 base range to 50,000 kilometer. Oh, wait, not 50,000 kilometer. 50 kilometer. 5 kilometer base range to 50 kilometer max range antenna. That it's just exactly the same functionality. It just looks really cool. And I'm excited about this because I think this would look amazing. You make a solar tower, you smack this in the middle of it, and you have a solar radar tower. Also, these are going to look amazing on some satellites that I wanted to put up in my single player world for communicating back and forth between my Earth base and my asteroid base and the moon and such. Putting these on there, yeah, it's going to look sick. But that's their last actual new block. But other than that, we have these LCD panels, new posters that you can put up in your base, give your base some beauty and some color, as well as a new camo pattern. So if I open up here, the camo pattern is right here, the frozen armor. And this is making it so that you've got what looks like ice and snow attached to your rover or your ship. Which, theme appropriate for Frostbite and the new ice moon. When you go there, slap this on your rover, so that way it looks like you've been driving through a blizzard, and yeah, you really need to go in and de-thaw. The last thing, and we'll do some editing magic here, is the Frostbite scenario, where they've been using the new visual scripting stuff that came for free in this patch to create a really cool scenario where it's got cutscenes and voice acting and all sorts of stuff. It's essentially like a campaign, like a new campaign expansion for Space Engineers. So I'm looking forward to playing that scenario. And other than that, that's everything that came in Frostbite. Hope you guys have enjoyed the update, and good hunting out there, fellow Space Engineers.